The diesel engine has always been regarded as solid, agricultural and bulletproof to some extent. There are some things that drivers inadvertently do that bring their diesel engines closer to the point where it's going to die or it's just going to break down on them. In this video, we're just going to look at some of the common mistakes that drivers make with diesel engines that are shortening the life of that engine. Diesel engines do operate at lower RPM. They produce lots of torque in this very narrow power band. Because you get so much low RPM torque, many drivers lug them. They ask too much of the engine. Now, a diesel engine is fairly good at delivering torque from low down, but we still need to be sympathetic about our gear selection. We don't want to put unnecessary strain on the engine or the transmission, and just choosing the wrong gear can put that strain on the engine or the transmission. We need to be particularly sensitive. If we keep stalling the car because we're in the wrong gear, or driving at the very lowest RPM that we can reach is the most economical point to drive at, we are fooling ourselves. That is not true with a diesel engine, and it's already got a very narrow power band, so it makes a lot of sense to fully exploit that power band. And indeed, if we want the fuel economy, we certainly need to be exploiting the power band more fully than just sitting at low RPM all the time. The fuel system in a diesel engine operates at extremely high pressures, up to 30,000 psi. Poor quality fuel, contaminants in the fuel, or just faulty injectors can go a long way to upset the smooth running of our diesel engine. And now they come with particulate filters. If the fuel is not atomizing correctly as it burns, it's producing more soot, and that soot is going to clog up the particulate filter. We need to be especially conscious of the quality of the fuel that we use, and also the quality of the fuel system that we've got in our car. If the injectors, the fuel pump, or any other components in the fuel system are starting to degrade, that can affect the running of the car. We'll notice that initially with a drop in MPG. It may be producing more soot. That might lead to more common regenerations of the particulate filters. These are all signs that something needs to be attended to within our diesel engine, and ignoring that will often cause the problem to accelerate, to get bigger over time, and we have a much more expensive repair to deal with. Diesel fuel itself is a lubricant, and this goes some way to explain why diesel engines last so long. You actually got diesel fuel, a lubricant, going directly into the cylinders each time the combustion process is taking place. But that doesn't mean that we can skip on servicing. The oil quality will degrade. The oil will become diluted over time as byproducts of the combustion process and unburnt fuel seep through. And that's particularly something that's going to happen on cold engines. If we do a lot of cold journeys, the degradation on the oil itself is certainly going to accelerate, and the oil is not going to do as good a job of lubricating the engine. It's important then to change the oil regularly. Manufacturers may state 9,000 miles, 12,000 miles or 12 months, but most drivers who drive very, very high mileage diesel engines cut those down. They change the oil more frequently, and that is the single biggest thing we can do to prolong the life of our diesel engine. Excessive idling. Now, in itself, engines are designed to idle, but the idling process is very inefficient. You're dumping a lot more moisture in the oil components in the engine, and that leads to enhanced wear and tear because the oil has now got water vapor collecting in it. And at the idling process, you may get more unburnt fuel going through into the engine oil itself. There's a lot of reasons why we shouldn't idle an engine, a diesel engine particularly, for long periods of time. They can do it. They won't die if we just do long periods of idling, but we're degrading the oil, and the wear and tear on the engine is going to accumulate faster if we have this habit of allowing the engine to idle all the time. You see a lot of delivery drivers in vans and trucks, they just leave the engine on all day long. The expense of the wear and tear on the starter motor will outweigh the saving that they would make by shutting the engine off. But we need to bear in mind as well that these engines are hot all day long. They're not doing the short journeys. They get plenty of chance to burn off all of these contaminants that have built up in the oil itself. And that's probably why a lot of these delivery drivers get away with these excessively long idling periods on their diesel engines. We should never let the diesel engine overheat. If the coolant burnt the thermostats or there's any other issue with the engine causing it to overheat, that is a great way of killing even a diesel engine. They are not absolutely bulletproof. They are still subject to the issues that come from an overheating engine. Never ignore a temperature gauge if it starts creeping up above normal operating temperature without a really good explanation, i.e. we're driving through the Arizona desert, for example. We see a lot of issues that come about where people delete the emission control systems. They just blank off, say, the EGR, they drill a big hole in the particulate filter. These all reduce a lot of the problems that they may have been experiencing, which are often down to poor maintenance or just the age of the vehicle requiring a little bit more care and attention. And in order to save that expense, they've cut corners, but they've not done it properly. Any adjustment in the pollution control systems requires an adjustment in the ECU. If the engine is still expecting these pollution control systems to be operational, it's going to be getting some very weird signals when they're not operational, and that can lead to poor running and further issues. Diesel engines, like most engines, are particularly sensitive to cold starts. A lot more wear and tear happens during the cold start, and we can offset a lot of that by driving for a longer period of time. We want to avoid those short journeys on our diesel engines. If we only ever do short journeys in our diesel engines, that is going to lead to all sorts of issues. The particulate filter, for one, is not going to like that. It's never going to get up to temperature to burn off the particulates it's collected, and that's going to lead to blockages and poor running. Also, the engine is not going to be as well lubricated during these multiple cold starts. The oil itself is going to degrade. The particulate filter regeneration needs about 600 degrees centigrade. That's about 1112 degrees Fahrenheit. And that only happens under certain driving conditions. And the regeneration process needs about 15 to 20 minutes. I've done other videos that go into the regeneration process in more detail. But if we never let this regeneration process kick off, or we never let it fully complete, that is going to lead to big problems, very expensive problems further down the line on our diesel engine. It's also good to check regularly for error codes. Just plug in your OBD reader into the OBD2 port on the car and download any error codes and diagnose them. That'll give you an early heads up to potential sensor malfunctions or other issues that are happening inside your diesel engine. So I really hope that this video has helped you to get the best out of your diesel engine. I've just highlighted a few of the common diesel engine killers that I see people doing all the time. And just with a little bit of common sense, a little bit of mechanical sympathy, we can make our diesel engine last much longer. Please boot the like button if you found this video useful. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We'd hate you to miss out on the great content we've got lined up. And I've lined this video and this playlist up for you that should really help you to get the best out of your diesel engine. Thanks for watching. See you in these next videos.